Okay, so Dad, if we go back to 25 years ago, which is absolutely crazy because it seems like yesterday. So I came back in the autumn of 2000 to farm.
Yep.
And at the time, we were basically looking at absolutely everything we could try and do outside the box, really, as we obviously were looking, we were growing wheat, barley. There was some land next door to take on, which we looked at as well. But we were trying to look at alternative crops, weren't we?
We were looking at, lavender was one, essential oils came up. We were looking at lavender, distillation, we were looking at pharmaceutical crops, and they were all high capital, high risk.
So we weren't just looking at other crops that we could sort of combine and sort of harvest sort of conventionally. It was anything out of the box that we can try and take, process, refine, distill, bottle, and take to market and try and add value and try and look at other things, really.
In a way, you said I came home back to farm. You came back to join the business, whatever
Absolutely.
the business was.
Yeah.
I was that time farming, we had the business let, all buildings were occupied, rented, nothing, everything, it could have been anything.
It could be anything. I ended up going to a franchising conference up in Stoneleigh in Warwickshire, where they were obviously advertising various franchises. And effectively, that's where there was a lady called Judy Beale from Scenic Blue that was doing a presentation on effectively Scenic Blue landscaping franchise. I think Judy and Stephen, I think she was the local NFU lady, I think, from memory, with Stephen.
He was farm manager.
He was farm manager. And then Stephen was growing turf up in the Vale of York, Lindham Turf. So Scenic Blue Turf was launched, and we were the first Scenic Blue Turf franchise. Which we signed up, I think, probably February 2001.
Probably.
And then it went from there.
Scenic Blue Turf really was, people did not understand the name. Why were we blue, Scenic Blue Turf with bluegrass?
Bluegrass, yeah, you're right. Because again, there was a lot of folks, obviously bluegrass is, you can get what's called Kentucky bluegrass, American grass, or blue or wash grass, and it was like, no, it's just a name. And then at the time, we then looked to go into change to QTS, I think was a quality turf supplier type thing. And I think it was actually Stephen that said at the time, look, George, everyone knows you for who you are. Why don't you use your name? Why don't you use your name as a business? And I was like, really? Do you want to put my name to the business? And it's me? And he goes, yes, you do. And so it became George Davies Turf. And that's really would probably be early, maybe 2002. I'd have thought when we sort of changed names properly. But that time we just had the yard here. I had a car. I bought a trailer.
And that was where you started for 2 years with the car?
Yeah, so we must have bought the car 2001. We went out and did loads of garden shows, Milton's Bowl Garden Show, Bourne Garden Show, Rest Park, Woburn Garden Show. And then Gerald Wilson, our local coal merchant, they sold us to John Croxford, and I bought it off John Croxford, an old 7.5 ton blue lorry, which I think is on the website somewhere, which suddenly meant I can go from carrying 50 rolls of turf to 240 rolls of turf at one go. And that lorry itself did so much work, but it was all handballed
off.
Back-breaking stuff, but it was hard work. And I remember we had a discussion at the time saying, Dad, I need a bigger lorry. And I remember saying, George, you can't afford a bigger lorry. They cost a fortune to run, the diesel, the running costs, the maintenance, and the forklift trucks. And I was like, I've got to do something because my back's going to go and my back won't take it.
You bought then a red lorry from Richmond Hire, which is why the current lorries are still red. Because that was the colour that we got ended up with. We couldn't afford to spray it blue. Everything was blue up until that point. A blue car and blue lorry and the red lorry, and it was like, we couldn't afford to spray it blue, so the red lorry stayed. And then when we got the new lorry in 2008, brand new, it was like, well, let's just stay red. Stay red. It was different. I think every other turf company in the country has a green lorry, and we're red, and we like being different. And it's iconic. We knew for a fact that the only way we could create a niche in the market or create a space was to go above and beyond, was to really look after customers to the nth degree, and give them the service, because that's all we could offer. Yeah. Quality of product and quality of service was the big ones that you could offer.
Yeah.
And had to offer.
And that's what Dad's taught me, right? To be looking after people, respecting people. If you respect people and you treat them properly, then you get it back in spades.
Yeah. That is so important. Paying people on time, respecting them, and treating them as you wish to be treated yourself.
Yeah. In any business, you go through ups and downs, and you just got to get through.
Yeah.
I don't think any business is plain sailing all the way. It really isn't. It's always devolving and changing and moving.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to look back after 25 years?
Sense of pride in what you've done, what Rick has done, family has done. We've gone forward, developed, and adjusted and changed as we had to and needed to at the various times.
I think I didn't expect it to be what it is today. I really didn't. I think in the early days, as a family, we haven't employed many people at all.
No.
Really. We've tried to do everything ourselves, and I think probably, I mean, if we go back to when, say, I was 17, Rick was sort of 12. Rick and I and you were the workforce of the farm.
It was a family business.
But we also were a mindset where we did everything ourselves. We were self-sufficient. We did everything. We could all do all the
capable
jobs,
of doing everything.
Capable of doing everything. And I think in a way, we probably in those early years, I know I found it really tough. That is, I'm never gonna find anybody to drive a lorry the way I drive a lorry, or to look after the customer that I look after the customer, or to answer the phone. And I know you're the same, and I know as a family we are. Yeah, we like to do things. We're doers. And I know I found it really hard to break away from that the first 8-9 years until it was probably
you had to.
I had to. And I think that looking back is probably the bit that it took me a long time to break out of.
Yeah.
But looking back now at the team we have, it's grown to what it is. The idea behind looking at other things, to say, okay, look, things are changing, and what else can we do?
Yeah, what else can we do? Be open-minded.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So no, fantastic. Well, I just want to say thank you for all your support again, and it's been great fun. Thanks again, Dad.